Jitatmanah prashantasya paramatma samahita shitoshna sukha dukkheshu tadha mana apamanayo. What are the signs of one who has conquered his mind? What are the signs? The sign is, first sign, is that the self remains steady and unperturbed in the experience of heat and cold, pleasure and pain, honor and dishonour. You know how we live our lives. Somebody today praises us, praises me and says, oh, he's a great man and so on. And I'm okay. The whole day I'm floating in cloud nine. Suppose somebody says this fellow is a fool. I didn't use the other word. Suppose this fellow is a fool. What happens to me? I mean, it doesn't happen to me. What happens? You're depressed. Oh, I thought I was a good person. He called me a fool. No, I always ask people, suppose somebody calls you a fool and you don't know the English language. What happens? It's the meaning of the word that is striking me, right? Not the sound. What if I knew only Hindi and thought when you say fool, you're saying fool? I'm a flower, then I'm happy. So, the sign of a person who has become a stithaprajna, has gone beyond the opposites, whose mind is functioning at a non-negative level, is a person who remains calm and tranquil in the midst of all circumstances. Heat and cold, pain and pleasure. Keep it here. Thank you. Pain and pleasure, and the other very important thing, what is that? Honor and dishonour. If you can take both equally. Otherwise what happens? If for 100 days, 100 people, every morning when I wake up, keep telling me you're God, what happens? On the 101st day I might really believe I'm God. If somebody says you're the devil, on the 101st day I might really begin to think I might be the devil, really. So what they're trying to say is forget public opinion. And this you can learn a lot from politicians, they don't care. Do their job. I sometimes wonder if they are stithaprajna. You do your thing, don't bother. See, if somebody dishonors you, they're not taking anything away from you. Somebody honoring you, watch out a bit, they might be flattering you. In fact, I think criticism is better than flattery. Because when somebody flatters, you know that there's some pull out there, something is there, coming up soon. You're a great man, you're a wonderful, especially with rich people. There are people, oh, you're a great man. After half an hour, so about 200 pounds donation for a cause. The flattery is always meant to please you. So don't get caught up in flattery and don't get worried about criticism. These are two sides of the same coin. If you live this way, then you're not swayed by opposites. You're in a tranquil plane. Why all this preparation in a chapter called Yoga of Meditation? Because you need to change your life before you can meditate. You can't say, I will live as I want and I will meditate. It's not possible to touch the spirit. Yeah, it's possible to touch the other spirit which comes in a bottle. You know why people take that spirit? Because for a short period, the central nervous system is paralyzed. Therefore, you are removed from some limitations. You feel very expansive. But don't forget that the liver is there to be taken care of. Somebody asked, is life worth living? And the answer was, it depends on the liver. So, teaching here, Krishna's teaching here, is a yogi who has reached the highest of states, is one whose mind is not affected by the opposites, who is tranquil, who does his job, does his meditation, is not affected by all this. Jnana vijnana triptatma kutasto vijitendriya yukta iti uchyate yogi samaloshtasma kanchana. A yogi whose spirit has attained that contentment through knowledge and experience is unperturbed, but subdued his senses. For such a person, a lump of earth and a bar of gold are alike. Not that he thinks they are the same, but for him, it doesn't matter. That's what it means. Don't mistake this to think that a yogi looks at mud and thinks it is gold, or looks at gold and thinks it's not that. It's a symbolic, metaphoric expression to show that you can neither tempt him through wealth nor depress him with mud. Such a yogi is said to have attained spiritual communion and steadfastness. Nowhere here is it mentioned that the greatest of yogis is one who sees spectacular visions. Not mentioned here. Maybe. But then, as part of your meditation, as you go deeper and deeper in your mind, you might sometimes see visions. That's okay. But that's not the criteria. No yogi can see as many visions as somebody who takes LSD. Are they saints? Are they yogis? Characteristics are important. One of them, the main, that the mind is calm and quiet. It's not torn between opposites. It's become tranquil. Such a mind is a takeoff point from which one can go to the higher spheres. As a corollary to that, Suhrana mitra arodasani madhyastha devasya dvandasu sadhusva apicha papeshu samabuddhir vishishyate. Please note this, says Krishna. Especially noteworthy in excellence is one who is even-minded in his outlook on friend and foe, on comrade and stranger, on the neutral or on an ally, or on good and even the evil. Such a good yogi, great yogi, has no friends or no foes. All, either you can say all are his friends and he has no foes. That's a better way to put it. And not only that, he loves not only the good but also the evil. There are no evil actually. If you look into your mind, nobody worse than us. Kabir Das, the great weaver saint, said, "Bura jo dekhne main chala, bura na miliya koi, dil khoja apna mujhsa bura na koi." I was looking for evil in others. I couldn't find much, so I opened my mind, my God, Pandora's box, here it is. So why do I blame somebody else? Don't blame anybody. We suffer or enjoy according to our actions. If you want to get out of it, get out of it. Don't bother. So there is no evil person for the great yogi, because Valmiki was a dacoit, right? What did he become later? A rishi? So there is a potential of the hidden spark of divinity in all. I think this is why Jesus Christ gave so much attention to the poor, to the needy, to what people called evil, so that who will raise them up? If a saint cannot raise them up, who can raise them up? Because a yogi doesn't see all that. He sees only the divine spark in the heart of a person. The same spark that is in me is in you. So to continue to see that, and very soon what you called an evil person becomes a good person. In fact, I think evil is a starting point towards the good. There is no evil person. I am the evil person. If I see evil in others, I am evil. See, good. Well, it's too much to say if somebody slaps you on one cheek, turn to him the other also. It's not easy to practice, I agree, in this practical world. But keep this in mind, that if somebody slaps you on your cheek, to give him 3 more slaps is not a solution. It will only escalate the matters. And now comes practice. After saying all this, laying the background and saying how a person should be living before he practices dhyana. First, the next sloka. First sloka is, therefore, having said this, yogi yunjita shatatam atmanam rahasi stita ekakiyata chittatma nirashira parigraha. Let the yogi, who having understood what has been said, constantly practice spiritual communion, residing in a solitary spot, desireless, possessionless, and disciplined in body and mind. Now, residing in a solitary place does not necessarily mean running away to the Himalayas. Because wherever you run away, you carry your mind with you, right? You can't leave your mind and run anywhere. Still carry your mind. Of course, there are advantages in some places where you may get some help, that I can understand. Beyond that, solitary simply means that you have a place where you can sit quietly, undisturbed, alone for a length of time. That's enough. Put up a board saying, even if the house burns down, don't call me. Sit in the room. So solitude is essential, but solitude cannot be practiced all your life. But short periods of solitude are very important for spiritual growth. You see this little worm, that caterpillar that crawls in the mud. After crawling enough and eating enough, says, now let me go into solitude. So what does it do? It builds a cocoon around it and sits inside. Absolute darkness. Perhaps it meditates, I don't know, I haven't seen its brain. But it's inside the cocoon. And then it matures. That short period of solitude is essential. Then it matures. And what happens? That caterpillar which was crawling in the mud has now beautiful colored wings and is flying in the sky, the butterfly. But once it is mature and has become a butterfly, it breaks the cocoon and comes out. It doesn't sit there. So, while solitude is essential in your spiritual practice, it's not that you should be always in solitude. Short periods of solitude are very essential, where you can sit and marshal your thoughts and keep quiet and relax and meditate. You can also do it in your own house if you have a room where you can sit. In fact, if you are practicing serious spiritual exercises which involve pranayama and so on, definitely use a separate room. Don't sit where your wife and children are. They might think something has gone wrong with you. One of my friends in Chennai wanted to pray. He had spondylitis. So There is one asana which is very good for spondylitis. I'm not going on a yoga therapy session, I'm just... and it's called Simhasan. In Simhasan, you sit like a lion, about to attack, about to spring. And then you open your mouth wide and roll your eyes just like a lion. And then you put I'm not going to show it now, it looks very strange. And you put your tongue out like that, as long as you can stretch it. It is stretching of the tongue that affects the back, the neck. You know? You can feel it here if you do it. So, I said practice it for a month or two, do Simhasan. So this guy said, okay. Then he went. Next day, early morning, I got a phone call from his wife. She said, something has happened to my husband. So what's happened? I don't know, you told him, I don't know what you did to him. So what's happened? He's on the terrace, his tongue is out, his eyes have rolled, and he's about to spray. I don't know if he's going to jump out of the terrace. So I said, please warn your wife before you practice. Therefore, it's always good to have a solitary room. Who knows what's going to happen when you practice? You might suddenly stand on your head. So, a yogi who has understood how to lead his life, practicalities of daily life, is not too affected by what happens externally, but who continues to lead his life, will benefit a great deal if he can find moments of solitude where you can sit quietly and, what does he say? Desireless, possessionless and disciplined in body and mind. When you say desireless and possessionless, it doesn't mean that you have to sell away everything that you have. When you sit, when you take off your shoes, in your mind, say, I'm leaving my ego here. You can easily make out, in fact, if you're at Sherlock Holmes, you'll see that Sherlock Holmes tells Dr. Watson, I mean it's a story, it's fiction, but still, tells Dr. Watson, how do you find out a guy is rich or poor? Look at his shoes, he said. Because you can change your clothes easily, but your shoes are too expensive. So if you wear new good shoes, that means the guy has money. Shoes represent many things, and hairstyles, of course. So you can't take off your hair, but at least you can leave your shoes outside, leave your egos there with the shoes. So that's what is meant. Not that you sell everything away and sit and meditate. You can't do that. And if you parked your car, hide the keys somewhere. Don't keep thinking about the car. Here it's not so dangerous. In India, when you go back, you won't find the car out there. So what we mean is take your mind off from all these things. When you are in solitude, relax and fix your attention with it. Don't think of all that. When you come back, okay, get them back. It doesn't matter. But after days of meditation, as the mind becomes mature, you will find that even when you come out, you can handle it far calmly. So practice is essential. Solitude is essential.